Well, hack your heart out. That's the message coming out of the White House today as the Obama administration continues to appeal to tech-savvy Americans with the first ever hackathon. The idea behind the hackathon is to create a new petition page for the public to contact the government online. The Obama administration is looking for a major revamp for its We the People website, which in the first half of who are the people that are responsible for the website in the first place. Now, the White House is actually inviting hackers to come in and redesign the website, actually ceding control of the website to the people who most often use it. This hackathon happens to coincide with the Open Data Day, and the Obama administration says it hopes to attract data visualization specialists, technology developers, and host developers in order to participate to create this more user-friendly site that will not only allow people to create petitions, but will also allow them to track the real-time progress of any response to the legislation that comes as a result. Now, as of right now, more than 6 million people have left more than 10 million signatures on the current We the People website. Everything from gun control to creating a Death Star has come up ever since the website's conception. We'll have to see how that plays out. On the other hand, the government is encouraging so-called good hacking, but they are also attacking the cyber community, the likes of which no administration has ever done before. During the same week that this White House-supported hackathon is going to go down, Attorney General Eric Holder released a new report that outlines the administration's strategy to deal with cyber hacks that result in the theft of trade secrets. Meanwhile, accused LulzSec hacker Jeremy Hammond, you see him right there on the screen, is approaching the one-year mark in his trial. He has been sitting in jail since last March with no possibility of bail and no trial. The 27-year-old is accused of helping to hack the global intelligence firm known as Stratfor and helped them steal private correspondences, credit card information, donor names, and more from the company's database. But new information about the judge actually responsible for trying Jeremy Hammond has made the case all the more unusual. Here to break down the latest developments is RT producer, web producer Andrew Blake.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Andrew. So what's going on with this case? What's the latest developments with the judge?
Well, the latest development is a very, very minor one in the grand scheme of things because it's only going to mean that we're going to have to be stuck around waiting for a little bit more. But Jeremy Hammond was arrested March 5th of last year and has yet to be tried for these accusations that with LulzSec, an anonymous offshoot, he was hacking Stratfor, hacking law enforcement agencies. There's a whole laundry list of counts that he's facing. And in fact, the judge said that he could be sentenced for 35 years to life for this thing. But yesterday, the judge, who, as we just talked about, her husband is somewhat connected to this thing, she said, you know what? I'm not going to step down right now, even though there is this huge grassroots campaign to have me, removed from the case. There was actually a press rally outside the courtroom yesterday. Despite all these things, she said, nope, sticking around. So now we have to wait till April, which is when the next round of hearings will start.
So let's back up just a little bit. Judge Loretta Preska is the judge's name. She actually went into the ruling, and the whole case is saying that her husband potentially was affected by the Stratfor hacks. Let's put up a graphic to kind of visualize what she said in this ruling that was, in fact, denied. She said, in doing so, defendant hopes to draw a link between the Stratfor hack and the interests of Cahill Gordon clients, which purportedly would then impose a financial interest upon Cahill Gordon and, in turn, Mr. Cavalier, that's her husband, and, in turn, this court. Defendant's attempt to draw such a link is futile.
Absolutely futile.
That sounds a little unfriendly, Andrew.
I read the whole motion that came out yesterday, and a couple of different times she said a couple of different things that make you go, really? You're trying to put out this motion where you're saying that you don't have any bias whatsoever, but you're unleashing this verbal onslaught on not just the defendant, but his attorneys and his supporters, and pretty much said that people who were rallying for Jeremy Hammond, who were trying to draw these connections, they weren't even speculative. They were just crap. And even though we've seen it that her husband, this Cavalier fella, his name and email address were leaked through the Stratfor dump. Now, it wasn't his credit card information and there wasn't any monetary loss, but he was still involved in it. He was still targeted, and he has a reason to, not want his name and email address circulated as part of this huge criminal event that has been going on for over a year now. We still haven't seen any developments.
So, Andrew, right now we have Hammond locked up for over a year, almost a year. Yeah. We've got Bradley Manning, who's been without trial for over 1,000 days. Yep. Aaron Swartz committed suicide, and it was supposedly as a result of the Department of Justice going after him. The Department of Justice is also going after WikiLeaks. Are we starting to see a trend as far as how cyber hackers are prosecuted?
No, I wouldn't even say we're starting to see a trend. It's been happening for months, if not years. It's just the last couple of weeks, especially with Aaron's passing, there's been this whole kind of renewed interest in paying attention to these people who are locked up, who are fighting these charges, because people are starting to realize that these charges might be a little bit silly. People are starting to look at these counts that are being filed and go, that could be anyone. That could be me. In fact, Jeremy Hammond released a letter from prison today, for this week, where he attacks the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, which is the legislation that they used to go after Aaron, that they used to go after Jeremy, used to go after pretty much most hackers, is the CFAA. And you know, he also said the same thing, that he thinks the Justice Department was responsible for Aaron's death, but that maybe CFAA reform isn't the solution. Maybe we just need to abolish it. We need to start all over, because here's an antiquated computer law from the 80s that they're using. It's way too, and a lot of people say it's just way too overly broad, that you can pretty much stress a case, if you're the government, to prosecute pretty much anyone for anything involving a mouse or a keyboard. And they're doing that to silence people who are sharing information that's critical to the U.S. government, as we see with Hammond, as we saw with Manning, as we saw with countless others. We can keep going and go through all the different Anons and LulzSec members who've been in prison. But yeah.
And we only have about a minute left, but I have to ask you, because we have all these cases of prosecutions of hackers, and yet we have Stuxnet, we have Flame, we have cyber
hackathon at the White House.
You're right. So can you explain this? I mean, apparently what's good for the goose is not good for the gander, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really think that the White House report this week was perhaps the most hypocritical thing that the Obama administration has done yet, and that's saying a lot, because here they are actually trying to recruit hackers to come in and make their website, not even their website pretty, the petition part. They want to make sure that people can more easily petition for a Death Star, which is fantastic. But they're going to use their resources on that. They're going to use America's brains and minds and their ability to do that kind of stuff. But at the same time, they're going to prosecute people who are trying to expand that knowledge to others outside of the Beltway, while we're going to try to recruit those same people to wage our cyber wars in Iran and in China and all of that. It's very hypocritical, and I think people need to step back and realize that the government can't be picking and choosing what they want to do with these geniuses.
A very interesting dichotomy. RT web producer Andrew Blake, make sure you check out our website for the very latest on all of these cases.
Our brand new website, rt.com/USA.
Thank you, Andrew.